Hey, how you guys doing, man? I know that was an exciting part to part 8. We are on part 9. This is awesome. X-Men the True Origins, and it's about to get exciting, man. This is real. This is real, folks. This stuff really happened, man. And this is what you strive to be. One day when we fight the forces of evil, these are the powers that you will have. These are the powers that you will have. Okay. So we're on Jasher chapter 37. We're on verse 34. Remember, Judah is fighting Jasher, and he's just knocked his shield off of him about 20 feet, about 22 feet in the air. And the kings that came with Jasher saw at a distance the strength of Judah, the son of Jacob, and what he had done to Jasher, and they were terribly afraid of Judah. Because I'm figuring Jasher, had a little bit of giant in him too. I'm sure he was big too. And they assembled near Jasher's camp, seeing his confusion. And Judah drew his sword and smote 42 men of the camp of Jasher. And the whole of Jasher's camp fled before Judah. And no man stood against him. And they left Jasher and fled from him. And Jasher was still prostrate upon the ground from the blow from that rock. You take a blow like that makes your shield bust and fly up in the air 22 feet from you, and this dude is killing 40 people by himself. Hulk smash. And Jasher, seeing that all the men of his camp had fled from him, hastened and rose up with terror against Judah, and stood upon his legs opposite Judah. So he's figuring, man, if I'm going down fighting. And Jasher had a single combat with Judah, placing shield toward shield. And Jasher's men all fled, for they were greatly afraid of Judah. And Jasher took his spear in his hand to strike Judah upon his head. But Judah had quickly placed his shield to his head against Jasher's spear, so that the shield of Judah received the blow from the Jasher's spear, and the shield was split in two. So just think about 300, the movie 300. You got men. This is one man-to-man combat right here. Or just think of all those movies like that. Man, this is where it comes from, man. These directors don't have all this imagination. It comes from other books like this. This is men of war right here. And when Judah saw that his shield was split, he hastily drew his sword and smote Jasher at his ankles. He cut his ankles. You ever seen the fight scenes in movies like what's the one Brad Pitt was in when he was Achilles and stuff like that, man? That's where this stuff comes from, man. And cut off his feet, that Jasher fell upon the ground, and the spear fell from his hand. And Judah hastily picked up Jasher's spear, with which he severed his head and cast it next to his feet. So I kind of noticed something about the way that they kill. I'm pretty sure Jasher probably was a giant or something. And you see the way that David slew Goliath. He cut his head off, right? This is how they do it. And when the sons of Jacob saw what Judah had done to Jasher, they all ran into the ranks of the other kings. And the sons of Jacob fought with the army of Jasher and the armies of all the kings that were there. And the sons of Jacob caused 15,000 of their men to fall. And they smote them as if smiting at gourds. And the rest fled for their lives. Remember, it was 112 Hebrews against thousands upon thousands of these Canaanitish armies coming against them. Lord of the Rings type stuff. Gandalf, the white wizard type stuff coming against all these hordes of Canaanitish armies, destroying them. And Judah was still standing by the body of Jasher and stripped Jasher of his coat of mail. And Judah also took of the iron and brass that was about Jasher. And behold, 9 men of the captains of Jasher came along to fight against Judah. So you still had some men there, some orcs or whatever. Who still think they had a shot. And Judah hastened and took up a stone from the ground. There's more stones. And with it smote one of them upon the head, and his skull was fractured. And the body also fell from the horse to the ground. The same thing that happened to Goliath. David fractured Goliath's skull. That's why he fell down. He was able to cut his head off. He fractured his skull. I don't care if he was a giant or not. These Hebrew men had powers. And the 8 captains that were remained, seeing the strength of Judah, were greatly afraid, and they fled. And Judah with his 10 men pursued them, and they overtook them and slew them. And the sons of Jacob were still smiting the armies of the kings, and they slew many of them. But those kings daringly kept their stand with their captains, and did not retreat from their places. And they exclaimed against those of their armies that fled from before the sons of Jacob, but none would listen to them, for they were afraid for their lives lest they should die. And all the sons of Jacob, after having smitten the armies of the kings, returned and came before Judah. And Judah was still slaying the 8 captains of Jasher, and stripping out their garments one by one. He was killing them, whether by sword or whether by stones or whatever. He was killing them one by one. These were mighty men, man. They weren't no punks. These were mighty men, and Judah was taking them out one by one. And Levi saw Elon, the king of Gash, advancing toward him with his 14 captains to smite him. But Levi did not know it for certain. And Elon with his captains approached nearer. And Levi looked back and saw that battle was given him in the rear. And Levi ran with 12 of his servants. And they went and slew Elon and his captains with the edge of the sword. No problem. Piece of cake. These were Hebrews. Yah was by their side. They had superpowers. Chapter 38, Book of Jasher. And a Hebrew, the king of Shiloh, came up to assist Elon. And he approached Jacob. When Jacob drew his bow that was in his hand, and with an arrow struck a Hebrew, which caused his death. Even Jacob at 105 years old is slain. Jacob was excellent with the bow. And when the hero king of Shiloh was dead, the 4 remaining kings fled from their station with the rest of the captains. And they endeavored to retreat, saying, "We have no more strength with the Hebrews after they having killed the 3 kings and their captains, who are more powerful than we are. They were stronger than us. How are we going to be able to stand against them?" And when the sons of Jacob saw that the remaining kings had removed from their station, they pursued them. And Jacob also came from the heap of Shechem, from the place where he was standing. And they went after the kings, and they approached them with their servants. And the kings and the captains with the rest of their armies, seeing that the sons of Jacob approached them, were afraid for their lives, and fled till they reached the city of Chazar. And the sons of Jacob pursued them to the gate of the city of Chazar. And they smote a great smiting amongst the kings and their armies, about 4,000 men. Remember, it's 112 men doing all this, notwithstanding Judah with his 10 servants he had, so it was actually less than that. And whilst they were smiting the armies of the kings, Jacob was occupied with his bow, confining himself to smiting the kings, and he slew them all. And he slew Parathon, king of Chazar, at the gate of the city of Chazar. And afterward he smote Susi, king of Sarton. King of Sarton. That word Sarton, man. All these words have meaning. You might want to look them up. But these people definitely possess some Nephilim traits about them. There is no question about them. They definitely have some Nephilim traits about them. They weren't just regular men. Some of them were, but for the most part, there was something wrong with it, and they was practicing a fallen angel of religion. And Laban, king of Beth-Korin, and Shabir, king of Machnemah. And he slew them all with arrows, an arrow to each of them, and they died. And the sons of Jacob, seeing that all the kings were dead, and that they were broken up and retreating, continued to carry on the battle with the armies of the kings opposite the gate of Chazar. And they still smote about 400 of their men. My goodness. You got these 112 men taking out thousands of these Canaanitish hordes coming after them. This is your boy, Yah's chosen one, and it gets even better. Trust me. This is just the start of these battles, okay? There's many battles to come. And these sons of Jacob is going to take out a lot of these Canaanitish tribes, these giants and all these other things that they were. Nephilim is what they were, really. And took them out. Taking them out. Alright, shalom.